Mediators are set to meet in Doha later today to lock down an elusive ceasefire deal for the Gaza Strip that could diffuse tensions ahead of an anticipated attack on Israel by Iran and Hezbollah. However, hopes of a breakthrough are dampened after Hamas announced that it would not directly attend the peace talks. Israel confirmed that its delegation will attend the peace talks with mediators from the United States, Egypt and Qatar. The US played down the absence of Hamas at the talks, adding that decision will be in the midst of ceasefire talks in Doha. Arab officials also downplayed Hamas's absence, telling Times of Israel that the group is still willing to meet the mediators immediately after the talks. According to officials, even if Hamas does not directly take part in the talks, its chief negotiator is based in Doha and the group has open channels with Egypt and Qatar. US President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris were briefed about the issues in West Asia ahead of the peace talks, which are set to take place in Doha. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken held phone calls with top Qatari and Egyptian officials. CIA Director William Burns and Envoy Brett McGurk will represent the US at the talks. Republican presidential contestant Donald Trump spoke on the phone with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Trump encouraged Netanyahu to agree to the mediated deal with Hamas. And this is according to Axios report. Ahead of the Doha summit, Hezbollah continued to target Israel. The Iran-backed group fired several rockets into the Kiryat Shimona area. The Israeli Defense Forces claimed, adding that no injuries were reported. This came hours after Israel carried out an airstrike in southern Lebanon. The IDF claimed 2 Hezbollah operatives were killed in the attack. The president of New York's famed Columbia University is resigning after months of criticism over her handling of the pro-Palestinian campus demonstrations. Nemat Shafiq is the 4th Ivy League president to resign after testifying before the US Congress last year. The leaders of the University of Pennsylvania and Harvard also resigned following their own widely panned testimony on campus anti-Semitism. Months later, the president of Cornell University also stepped down. Russian authorities have ordered the evacuation of 20,000 people residing in the border region of the Glushkov district. Well, this comes after Ukraine's advancements into the Kursk region. In a statement, the acting governor of the region, Alexei Smirnov, said that law enforcement officials and other state bodies will be coordinating the evacuation procedure. Ukraine has said that it has invaded around 2 kilometers into the Kursk region. It also added that the border town of Sudza has been cleared off the Russian forces. In the midst of this, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky lauded the advancement of Ukrainian forces in Russia's Kursk region. In his address, Zelensky said that the Ukrainian forces are achieving the strategic goals and have showed good progress in the Kursk region. Meanwhile, Russia's defense ministry released a video showing the Sukhoi Su-25 fighter jets in combat operations. Reports suggest that the jets were in action around Russia's border region of Kursk. With Ukrainian forces advancing into the Kursk region and Russian officials ordering evacuations in the border region, India has issued an advisory to its citizens to evacuate from the Belgorod and Kursk regions. The Indian embassy in Moscow stated that Indian nationals should take all precautionary measures. However, it did not make any open references to the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine. A NATO airbase in Germany was sealed off after a suspected case of sabotaging the water supply was reported on Wednesday. This comes after a similar case was reported at a German military base near the Cologne airport, following which the base was shut down. The NATO base in Germany houses a fleet of surveillance aircraft. However, reports suggest that NATO is not sure as to who might have illegally accessed the case. In the recent past, several countries like Poland, Germany, Britain and Czech Republic have reported such incidents. On India's 78th Independence Day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi hailed the potential of country's 1.4 billion people, calling the current period India's golden era. In a wide-ranging speech, Modi touched upon issues including economic reforms, women's safety, and the recent violence against Hindu minorities in Bangladesh. Keeping with the theme of this year's Independence Day, Vikasit Bharat at 2047, Modi said that these were not just words, but the reflection of resolve and dreams of 140 crore Indian people. He said that if we resolve and move together, we will make India a progressed nation by 2047. Tensions persist in India's West Bengal as a mob vandalized the emergency building of the R.J. Kar Medical College and Hospital, where a female trainee doctor was found dead last week. The incident took place amid midnight demonstrations against the horrific rape and murder of the trainee doctor. According to the Kolkata police, a group of miscreants disguised as demonstrators entered the hospital area and vandalized the property, forcing security officials to disperse the crowd. Kolkata Police Commissioner Vineet Goyal came down heavily at the media over the incident, alleging that it was the result of its wrong and malicious campaign against the police. Despite the interim government in Bangladesh cancelling the public holiday on August 15th, citizens observed the national mourning in memory of the founder and former President Mujibur Rahman. Former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's son posted a video on social media site X showing Bangladeshis thronging at the Bangabandhu National Memorial Museum with candlelights and chanting slogans. Citizens also paid homage by placing the candles in the statue of the former president, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Following the national mourning event at the Bangabandhu Museum, national award-winning actress Rokia Prachi was physically assaulted. The actress held a sit-in with a group of people in front of the museum demanding justice for the killings. In response, the army rushed to the scene and brought the situation under control. Reports suggest that the attackers were associated with the BNP political party. Meanwhile, UN experts are said to visit Bangladesh to probe the killings of the demonstrators. A year after the world recovered from COVID-19, the World Health Organization has now sounded alarm and has declared Mpox a global public health emergency for the second time in a span of 2 years. This comes after an outbreak of the viral infection in the Democratic Republic of Congo, which was spread to the neighboring countries. While symptoms of this disease includes rashes, skin lesions, fever, headache, muscle aches, back pain, and swollen lymph nodes. The virus spreads through physical contact, such as kissing or intercourse. It can also spread from animals when cooking them and can also spread from mothers to a fetus. Hundreds of Japanese flights and trains have been cancelled in the middle of a major holiday week as another typhoon roared towards the archipelago. Well, days after Tropical Storm Maria dumped record rains, Typhoon Ample is set to skirt the Tokyo region and then churn up the Pacific coast on Friday and Saturday. Well, Ample is continuing to strengthen as it moves north, accompanied by a storm zone maintaining great force after approaching the Izu Islands. The storm looks likely to near eastern Japan on Friday through Saturday. All Nippon Airways has cancelled some 280 domestic flights due to the storm. Ernesto strengthened into a hurricane as it dropped torrential rain on Puerto Rico and left nearly half of all customers in the U.S. territory without power. The storm brushed past the Caribbean island overnight. According to U.S. National Hurricane Center, it became a Category 1 hurricane on Wednesday morning with maximum sustained winds of 120 kilometers per hour. According to the power company Luma Energy, the storm left some 604,000 customers in Puerto Rico without electricity. The Puerto Rican power grid has suffered frequent outages since Category 4 Hurricane Maria tore through it in 2017. Amid the relentless rain, officials opened one of Puerto Rico's biggest dams and evacuated some residents from the northern coastal town of Tuabaja as torrents of churning brown water flowed towards it. Now we look at the latest in China's property market crisis. China's home price slump eased in July. This is a shot in the arm of the Chinese government, which has initiated several measures to revive the market. Now, this will give some respite for China's economy, which is aiming for 5% growth this year. Despite a slew of stimulus measures, the housing crisis has slowed growth, and economic indicators such as consumer prices, they point to deflationary pressure. A gauge of Chinese developer shares have slid further into a bear market, dropping about 34% from a mid-May high. Chinese steelmakers slashed output last month as woeful demand forced steep cuts on an industry contending with a collapse in margins. Steel production in July plunged about 9%, the lowest figure reported in 2024. The protracted downturn in the real estate market and shrinking factory activity that have pushed domestic prices sharply. The nation's steelmakers warned on Wednesday that the industry is facing a crisis more severe than the downturns of 2008 and 2015. Australia's jobs growth surpassed all expectations in July. A swelling labour force pushed unemployment up slightly, underscoring the resilience of the labour market to elevated rates. Traders have trimmed expectations of Reserve Bank rate cuts. Money markets now see the start of the RBA's easing cycle in December. The report comes a week after the RBA left the key rate at a 12-year high of 4.35%. Economists reckon the RBA's next move will be a cut, though they are divided on the timing. Meta on Instagram has been criticized for not removing abusive comments directed at female lawmakers who may run in the 2024 U.S. elections. This finding comes from a report by a non-profit organization called the Center for Countering Digital Hate. The report reviewed more than 500,000 comments on Instagram posts and from 5 Democratic and 5 Republican women lawmakers, including Senator Elizabeth Warren and Vice President Kamala Harris. The non-profit identified over 20,000 comments as toxic, including 1,000 that were sexist, racist, or contained death and rape threats. Well, despite all these violations, Instagram failed to remove 93% of the harmful comments. According to a report, hackers tied to Russian intelligence are targeting critics of the Kremlin worldwide through phishing emails. Researchers describe this phishing effort as a part of a larger online espionage campaign. Well, this comes as U.S. officials are closely looking out for cyber threats ahead of the 2024 U.S. presidential polls. Since 2022, these email attacks have targeted prominent Russian opposition figures living abroad, former U.S. policy and think tank officials from U.S. and EU non-profits, and also media organizations. Spotify will soon update its app on Apple device in the European Union to display prices for its plans and services in the future. Well, this change follows Apple's decision to deny a similar request from Spotify. Apple had rejected the request as Spotify initially did not agree to its new music streaming policies, which sets rules for how music streaming apps in the European Economic Area should inform users about other options. Although Spotify has now accepted these terms, its iOS app still will not provide an external link for people to buy Apple's commission fees. Microsoft's widely used enterprise suite Dynamics 365 is dealing with a serious security flaw that endangers various companies. Well, the Indian government cybersecurity agency CERT-In has issued a high severity alert regarding this issue. According to CERT-In, the Dynamics 365 could let a remote attacker gain high levels of access or control over a targeted system. This flaw is due to weak authentication, which can allow an attacker to potentially bypass the authentication procedure. Seemingly, Microsoft has issued an update that should clear up this issue.